Really feel about show day. Oh my God, I messed that up. Oh, I messed that up. I kind of look good. Where was I? What happened? Oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna get first call outs. And this is what genuinely broke me. It was the best day ever and I can't wait to do it again.
It's game time and I'm up one. Name something I ain't done. Name a body that's my type. Air Jordan, I'll take flight. I'm next level, I'm rich.
To our winner, Rene.
Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode of the Prep Diaries series. My name is Julia Rene. I'm an IFBB Wellness Pro, and in today's video, we are going to be diving deep into how I really feel about show day. Okay, so if you haven't been watching, my last video was show day at the Heart of Texas Pro in Frisco, Texas, and what was the date? Oh my God, like at this point I'm like, okay, it was the 14th. So I competed on the I competed on the 7th of September. So it has been a little bit, since I have been on stage. So I wanted to walk you guys through, how the whole day went. I know that you watched the show day video, and if you're not like familiar with bodybuilding, sometimes some of the things that we're doing is like weird and you're like, wait, why are they doing that? Especially like if you watch the live video and they're like moving everybody around. So let's just go through the whole day. So Ian and I woke up super early at 4:30 in the morning because we wanted to get some shots of like that morning, and Ian wanted to get some drone shots and stuff like that. So like all of the stuff that you guys see in the video, like Ian plans it, he creates like a shot list and things that, he wants to get so that you guys can get a whole like story of what it feels like to actually be there. So I was up at 4:30 in the morning, which is normal for me because I've been getting up so early during this whole prep. So we got that done and the whole morning was really relaxed and chill, checked in with coach, everything was looking fine. And it's crazy because normally on show days, like I feel like super anxious and like nervous, and this time I was just like really chill, and it was just so different than before. And then after, the check-in with coach, like that's when things started like speeding up a little bit, like meal timing and going and getting my second coat of tan. So I needed to go and get my second coat of tan, and I also needed to make sure that, I got my second coat of tan early. Okay, yeah, I got it at 6:20 in the morning, came back, did my hair, made sure it was ready to go because I booked a makeup appointment at 8 a.m. and prejudging started at 9 a.m. Ask me why I did that, I don't know. I think it's because I wanted to relax, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's nice to have somebody else like do the thing for you, which I regretted almost immediately. Not because I thought that she did a terrible job or anything like that. It's just that everybody has a specific way that they like do their eyeliner, that they do their eyebrows, and everything was done like different than what I normally do. And knowing myself, I knew that I was going to adjust it anyways, just to like touch up and stuff. So I brought all of my makeup too, not all of it, but a good amount. And she matched my face color like perfectly. Like going on stage, everyone was like, your stage makeup looks so good. And I loved the eyeshadow color that she did. There was just some things like I'm used to having, like a darker wing, and it wasn't as dark as normal. So like I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I didn't really recognize myself. And I wanted to feel the most confident that I could on stage. And I wasn't feeling that confident in that moment afterwards. So I get my makeup done and I kind of like check it out, and the color is matching perfect, like the foundation and everything, and the blush was fine. It was more so like my eye area that wasn't really vibing with me. And so I went to the bathroom and the lighting in there was terrible, and I'm on the floor like crouched over like trying to fix it. And in that bathroom, that's where I met one of the girls that I was actually competing next to on stage and became really good friends with, Mia. She was the one who took 4th place, and she's like, I follow your YouTube channel, and can we get a photo later? And I was like, yes, of course. And then we ended up being on stage together, and it was crazy. So I fixed what I could, and then like I start running over to Prejudging. And if you guys watched the live, you would know that it started almost an hour late. So I run backstage, there's nobody backstage. And usually by that time, like the men who were before us, which was Men's Physique, should have been pumping up already. Sorry, I just blow dried my hair and it's like all fluffy. Nobody was backstage, so I was like, okay, cool. That means that I can go back to the bathroom and do another check-in with my coach and also fix my makeup even more, because I still wasn't feeling like my most confident, because I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I just don't look like myself. So I did my first check-in photo with coach in pretty bad lighting, like in the bathroom, and he goes, do me a favor, you know, once you get in some natural lighting, do the natural lighting photo. I did the natural lighting photo and I looked so much better because you can actually see more details and stuff. And he texts me, he's like, you're right on the money. Have your pump up meal, which for me was salmon, a 1/8 teaspoon of salt. So I literally just put the salt like on top of the salmon and ate the salmon cold. Like it was delicious at that point. I know it sounds gross, but when you're that hungry, it doesn't matter. And then I was eating my little Chex rice cereal, and oh, it was so delish. I wish I can eat that right now, but we're back on prep, so I'll get into that a little bit later. So I was feeling, and you could tell like backstage that for Prejudging, everyone was a little bit more like tense and nervous because it's the first time that the judges are seeing you compared to the other girls, and you're doing your routine. So I relaxed a little bit backstage, but relatively quickly, they were like, okay, number 28, like start lining up, because there wasn't that many men before us, and there was only 2 pro divisions that were competing, and it was classic physique and then wellness. So everything went by super quick. And that's the thing about show days, you spend so much time preparing for it, and it's like gone in the blink of an eye, which I was so sad about. So what we did first is they have all of the girls come on. It's kind of like a first looks where they see all of the competitors. There was, I think, 30 girls, which is a lot. My last show, there was maybe like 15. So all of us come on, they get the first looks at everybody, and then they put you to the side and they do call outs. So there's first call outs, second call outs, third call outs, and so on. And basically what that means is first call outs, like the first 5 people that they call, is typically placing 1st through 5th. So that's what you want. Like you want to be first call outs at a pro show and an amateur show. So last show I got 2nd or 3rd call outs. And this time I'm like standing there, you know, I'm waiting, I'm like, okay. And there was like a moment where I was like, oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna get first call outs. Because everyone looked so good. And that's the thing, like once you get like into you become a professional, everybody is also a professional. Everybody looks good, everybody worked hard. So I literally was like, I'm not gonna be gold, oh my God. And then they called me and I was like, holy shit, oh my God. Okay, so what they're doing when they do these call outs is they're comparing your physique to the girls that are next to you, and they're trying to place you. So if you guys watched the show day video or the live of that day, you saw them moving me around a lot. So they moved me next to the number 1 position, and usually, well, not usually, always, the person that's in the center is the number 1 position that they have a number 1. So they moved me next to number 1 into the 2nd position to compare me next to her, and so on and so on. So they're obviously like seeing what your physique looks like next to hers, and then they have you do your mandatory poses. For wellness, they're like quarter turn to the right. They compare side poses, back poses, all of that stuff. Sometimes they have you walk to the back of the line. That's what they were doing. So they were moving me around a lot. They moved me to the 2nd position, to the 3rd, to the 4th, to the 5th, to the 2nd, to the, and so, you know, when they call out your number, you raise your hand so that you know, and then you can switch places like with the girl who you're switching places with. So when you're on stage, like you don't really know. Like every time I get off, I'm like, where was I? What happened? Even when I got my pro card, I was dead center and I had no idea that I was dead center. I was like, was I dead center? Because you're just adrenaline and you're focusing on doing all your posing and stuff like that. And you don't even really like know what's going on. You're kind of like in another world. So that was good. I got off stage and I was like, oh my God, I got first. Oh, wow, that's amazing. I was like, okay, I'm at least first through fifth. Like that's a huge step up from my last show. So I get off stage and we're, you know, I do my routine and they have you come off and you go back around in a circle and you do your routine. And it's crazy because of how hard you can be on yourself, where I was doing my routine and in my head, like, you know, I felt very confident, but also like you kind of like when you get off stage, you think, oh my God, I messed that up. Oh, I messed that up. Oh, dang it. Like I practiced that so much. How did I mess that up? And when I got the footage back and like saw the response of my posing routine and how people were like, oh my God, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I kind of look good. I look kind of good, you know? You know, you don't look as bad as you think that you do. And I was super happy with it. Then get off stage, go and see my mom and my friends and Zach, everything. And Zach had taken all these photos and comparisons and he was showing me because I obviously didn't really know where I was on that stage and was so happy. So then after that, we went home for just to wait till finals. And at that point, it's like, you want to keep your physique in the absolute best shape that you can. So you want to keep it tight. You still want to be very mindful of how much water you're having. You still want to be very dry. You don't want to like ruin anything basically. So as soon as I got home, FaceTime coach came up with a game plan. He was super proud if you guys saw the show day video. And I just chilled. Literally, I laid down and relaxed. Like I couldn't really fall asleep because I was like very exhausted, but like adrenaline still. So I just laid down, woke up, ate a meal, check-in with coach. Laid down, woke up, ate a, like that's literally all I was doing for those past 2 days. And I knew that I wanted to wake up or like get up out of bed at least an hour before I had to leave for prejudging because I wanted to fix my makeup. So I took off my eyebrows and what's crazy is you guys saw how dark the tan is. So my face was not matching it perfectly. It was a little bit lighter. So I got micellar water and I took off my eyebrows with like little pad, just my eyebrows. And then I got a little tiny Q-tip and took off just the wing so that I can redo it because those are the two things that I was like, okay, I do these a certain way and I need to redo them. Katie and Kendall come in, which are my two of my best friends. And I was like, hey guys, I had like a white patch here from my eyebrows and my eyeliner. And I was like, hi guys. And I told them like what happened and how I was fixing it. I was able to fix it and I felt even more like myself. I felt even better and more confident, you know, going into finals. So when we went back to finals, usually they have already decided who is in what placing. So prejudging, they're moving people around, they're figuring out the placing. They did a confirmation round. So a confirmation round is basically confirming the placing that they decided at prejudging. So there are chances that they change it. There's a chance. So that's why you want to keep everything like completely tight, perfect. And there's a chance that like maybe somebody who is in the top like 3 position, their physique, they come back and their physique is completely changed. Like that stuff does happen. It's very rare, but it does happen. So we go back and you could tell that it's just like everyone's a little bit more chill because they got those like jitters out, you know, scrape some of the dust off. And like, oh, I got to meet some of the most incredible girls. I really got to know like all of us top 5 and I got to meet some other girls too. And it was just so amazing because I've never actually experienced that backstage where it was friendly and it was like encouraging. I haven't experienced like mean girl, none of that. Like it was more so just serious, you know, because at the end of the day, it's a competition and these are your competitors, but you can be competitive, but still support each other and cheer each other on. And that's what I experienced backstage. And I got to meet some really awesome girls and really good friends. And like, I'm still keeping in contact with them because some of them are still competing and, trying to get an Olympia qualification and stuff like that. And we all have a similar goal. So why not? Another thing that I forgot to mention. So after prejudging, when I came back to the house, and Zach and you guys know Zach was my coach. He coached me to get my pro card. So any time that he's like critiquing my physique and you guys see him doing that, it's because I'm asking him to, because, it's kind of nice knowing that like I have somebody who's my coach, that I have over FaceTime and like is watching everything, but it's also like very comforting to have somebody that was in the industry for years and he knows my body also very well and right there in person. So if you ever seeing him do that, it's because I'm asking him to do that and it really helps me. So I was like, how do you think I did, guys? Like, was the posing good and everything? And they were like, your posing was amazing. And I even have like a video that Zach took of my posing routine, and I can hear him and Ian in the back of the video just saying like how amazing my posing looks, and it's so nice to have that to look back on, because I'll go into that later. But I was asking him about my posing, and he goes, I have a feeling that your back pose, your feet are too wide and your knees are squatting too much. So he showed me the photos of me compared to all the other girls on stage, and he was right. You can see a pretty big difference in their feet being more narrow and their knees not as bent as mine. But for me, you can tell that I was bending my knees too much and my feet were too wide. When I'm standing by myself, you can't really tell as much because there's no one to compare it to. But when I'm standing next to the other girls, it's very obvious. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. And I got confirmation from somebody in the audience who's very good with posing that yes, that was correct. So I went and I tried to fix it like in that short amount of time. But when you do posing and you practice doing something a certain way for a very long time, it's really hard to fix it that quickly. So I thought I did, but I didn't. So when I was shooting back, fast forwarding forward, when I was in finals, I was being very mindful of that when I was on stage, but I still needed more time to practice. And that's something that I'm working on right now. So yeah. So going back to finals and to the confirmation round. When they did the confirmation round, they did it backwards. So they started with last call outs to second call outs to first call outs. So when you're on stage, no matter what, even when you're getting ready to step on stage and you're back there, you want to be ready because you never know if the judges are going to be seeing you, because they might see you like in the back corner. And every time that I'm teaching posing to my clients, I'm always teaching them this. I'm like, you just be ready. Because even if like there's somebody that's center stage that they're looking at, there's 5 judges. There could be someone that's looking at you. So they did the confirmation round and they were doing last call outs to second call outs and to first call outs. And I was standing there. All of the girls were standing there for it felt like a million years. And this is what genuinely broke me. And I was so proud of myself because if you see the footage, you see that I keep shifting from one hip to another. And that's because my back was hurting so bad. When you're up there and like, obviously you're tired, you're exhausted. Everybody on stage is. You're doing your poses over and over and over. You're smiling, trying to look like perfect, keeping your stomach in, making sure you're flexing everything. My back was killing me. So I have a feeling that this definitely contributed to me not feeling as good about my routine the second time around because I was exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm gonna take that like feedback and knowing that, okay, this could happen. You could be standing on stage for a very long time for the confirmation round. So I'm just gonna be practicing holding it even more. I still think I did a really good job, but I can tell that when I went back for my routine the second time that I was so tired. I don't think I nailed it as good as I did the first time with my full energy and, ready to go, but that's okay. then we ended up getting awards. I ended up placing 5th, which I was so happy about. Like, being able to move up from feeling just the feelings that I felt with Puerto Rico Pro. Of course, I'm always proud of myself for doing this, because this is a very hard thing to do, you know, and I just remember the feeling that I had after the Puerto Rico Pro, especially because so much was going on in my life at that time that you guys didn't know about during that time until later. Puerto Rico Pro in 2022 was the last time I stepped on stage. I placed like 8th. I didn't feel very confident about my posing routine. I didn't feel confident in how my physique looked. That was the best I've ever like looked then, but of course, you know, it still wasn't lean enough, and Zach and I had broken off our engagement that peak week, so there was so much, and it was just me and Ian alone in Puerto Rico, and I don't know what I would have done, honestly, without Ian there at the Puerto Rico Pro, because I was barely hanging on, because when I got home, I was moving out. Like, I thought that my relationship was over, my whole life was changing, everything that I had thought, you know, was going to be a certain way was changing, and then not feeling very confident, like on stage, and placing 8th, which there's nothing wrong with placing 8th. It's just, you know, I knew that I could have done better if I would have just like held it together, but you can't change that. So I really don't know what I would have done if Ian wasn't there, because I was barely hanging on. And just the difference between that show and this time, and like having so many people there to support me, having Zach in my life again, and feeling just so confident and ready, and just feeling like I nailed it regardless of my placing, which I'm very, very, very proud of. I knew going into it, it doesn't matter what I place, because I feel that I have the best physique that I absolutely have, that I gave it my all, that I made all the necessary adjustments from my last show, and I was positive, and I was happy, and I was so excited. It was the best day ever. Like, I don't know if you guys could tell from the show day, but like, it was the best day ever, and I can't wait to do it again. So, one thing that's cool about being an IFBB Pro is that you get judges' feedback immediately after the show. So when I was an amateur, because there's like so many people that compete at, when you're an amateur, that the judges can't get, like physically can't get to everybody, so that makes sense. But you usually have to email in your first and last name, like your number, you know, the division, and you have to wait to get your feedback from the judges. But when you're a pro, like after finals, I you know, grabbed my stuff from the back, picked up my bands and my put my slippies on and everything, and the judges were already backstage. So I was able to get feedback real time from the judges, and I share all of that in my show day video also, but I'll do a little quick synopsis of it. But the judge that I talked to, I found out later wasn't the head judge. Guys, I'm still very new at this. Like, that was my second pro show. You know, my first show ever was in 2020. And so I felt like such a noob. I was like, I don't know how to do any of this. Like, I still feel like I don't know what I'm doing. So I didn't know. And Zach was like, you know, you want to get the feedback from the head judge. And I didn't know that. So I didn't even know who was the head judge. I now know that going into the next show that I will get feedback from the head judge. But regardless, I still got feedback from one of the judges, and he was so incredibly nice, so sweet. He was like, I was like, you know, what feedback do you have for me? Where can I improve? I just want to get better. And he said the same thing that Zach predicted about my back pose. And he's like, you could have won, and I quote, he's like, you could have won from the front. He's like, you had the best front pose on stage. And he's like, but when you turned around to the back, especially with how you were posing, it made your glutes not look as big as we know that they are. And I was like, you're right. And I was like, yep, okay. So I even like did the pose with him back there and was like, okay, so if I have my feet like this close, and he's like, yeah, like this is where you want to be. So I'm working on straightening my knees, making sure my feet are a little bit more narrow instead of wide. And that's what I've been working on ever since like I stepped off stage, because that's one of the at this point, the other feedback that I got was, of course, I need to grow my calves. I still need to grow my glutes and hamstrings. We have made so much progress since the last time. Like, it's crazy because I grow quads like nobody's business, but glutes and hams are a little bit of a challenge for me because it's a little harder for me to activate them versus my quads. So like you guys have been following along, we have been training glutes and hams 3 days a week. And we've been training like quad specific every other week because that has helped me so much in my growth by taking out so much of the quad stuff to just focus on the glutes and hamstrings. So we're most likely going to do that again this off season, but you know, we'll have a whole video about the off season plan because it's about to go down. But in wellness, it's like you can always have more glutes and hamstrings, you know? We got the quads and everything, but I think that fixing this posing adjustments is going to make such a big difference on stage because from my last show to this next show that I'm getting ready to do, it's less than 3 weeks. I can't grow my glutes, my hamstrings, and my calves in less than 3 weeks and still have the deficit that I'm in. It's just not gonna happen. So the things that I can do is adjust some of my posing to have a little bit less of the hand movements and also fix that back pose. I can do that. And ask the head judge next time for feedback. So all in all, I'm so incredibly proud of this. I accidentally, and it's kind of crazy because I was looking at my Road to Pro, my last show day series because I was trying to find a title to use for one of my videos that I posted a couple days ago or last week or something. And I accidentally clicked on my show day video from my Puerto Rico Pro in 2022. And I was blown away because of course, like, I was proud of how fast I was able to pull it together for Puerto Rico Pro with everything that was going on. I did pretty good, all things considering. But I after seeing the footage of this time at the Heart of Texas Pro 2 years later, and the comparison of the footage of Puerto Rico Pro, I was like, oh my God, I literally started crying. I was like, I can't believe that like how much better I looked this time. It was just so incredible to see. So hopefully I'll pop up some footage of, like, you know, this time around in Puerto Rico Pro, and also the posing, spending 2 years working on perfecting my routine and making sure my hands were flowy and my body was flowy and my hair choreography and my faces, and it shows. And I'm like, wow. Because it's so easy to critique every little thing that you do, you know, and always want to be better. And you always do want to be better, but it's something that you want to do and is easily blown over, especially with bodybuilding, is like appreciating where you are right now and how far you have come. And of course, it's like immediately after my show, I was so proud and so happy, and I knew that it was my best physique forward, but I immediately went into, okay, what do we need to fix? What do we need to adjust? How can I fix this feedback? And seeing that footage of me at the Puerto Rico Pro, like, brought me back down to earth and being like, wow, okay, you did that. You did that thing. And seeing how far I had come in those 2 years was crazy. And I'm so glad that I took that time off, because you guys know it was hard to take that time off, but it was so worth it. And everyone's saying, like, this is the best comeback that I've ever seen. I'm like, I'm so happy, it really is. So let's talk about what the next steps are. So as you guys know from the show day video, we are doing another show. So like I was saying, they're a little less than 3 weeks apart. So everything after this video is going to be moving very fast. It's like we're gonna have one video and then we're going to have, it's like peak week then again, because I took the rest of the week from show day, which was Saturday, from Saturday to Saturday off from filming, because I had been doing 3 videos a week. And, you know, I love doing what I do, but I just needed that time, you know, to decompress, you know, sleep a little bit. But I'm ready, I'm excited. My body is already looking better. You know, of course, my weight went up a little bit after stage with, you know, eating my little cheat meal with my burger, my fries, and some ice cream and stuff, and, you know, taking that rest. And, you know, it's easy to get really caught up and like, oh my God, like the weight is going up, but it's okay. Like, it's normal. You're eating foods that your body's not used to, sugar, fat, salt. You know, I was watery the next day. And, you know, after doing this a couple of times, like, I just know that that's something that's gonna happen. So I made sure not to check my weight until my coach wanted me to for my check-in, because I know myself. And if I start obsessing over what the scale says, I'm just not gonna be positive and very happy. And so I just didn't. And I checked in with my coach, and my first check-in, I was 2 pounds up from my stage weight, which in the past, I probably would have been 5 to 10 pounds up, if we're being real. And this is how each time you just get better and better. And I was so proud, I was so happy. I was like, I did it, you know? And right now I'm already back to the weight that I was peak week. And I have a feeling that this next peak week, I'm gonna start it and I'm gonna be even lighter than I was my last peak week, which is freaking crazy because I haven't weighed this little since I started my fitness journey, like years ago. So that's the game plan. Everything's gonna happen again really, really, really fast. My parents are coming to Reno, Nevada. The show is gonna be in Reno, Nevada, September. Let me look at my calendar just in case, because I wanna give you guys a little bit more of a heads up this time, because there are some people who were commenting on my show day video that were saying like, we want to try and come and support you. So it's going to be Reno, Nevada, September 28th. That's when the pros compete. Prejudging starts at 9:30 a.m. and final starts at 4:30 p.m. I am already signed up for the show. When you're an IFBB pro, you have to sign a contract for each show. Contract is already signed. My tanning is booked. I'm doing my own makeup this time. I am just going to go makeup shopping and buy a similar color to what she did on my face and for my eyes, because it was gorgeous, you know? I just need to do my wing. I need to wear the lashes that I'm used to wearing. I need to do my brows the way I'm used to doing my brows. But yeah, so we're back on it. And in the next video, I'm gonna share with you guys like the adjustments that we're making to my plan going forward and how we're gonna continue on this journey for the next couple videos until we compete again. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for all the support, and we are not done. So I love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think. Bye. how I really feel about show day. Oh my God, I messed that up. Oh, I messed that up. I kinda look good. Where was I? What happened? Oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna get first call outs. And this is what genuinely broke me. It was the best day ever and I can't wait to do it again.